Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all well. My name is Inga and the channel is called Ink Stitch, and today I decided to film a little Stitch With Me video where I'm starting my new kit chart from Mirabilia. This is a Christmas elf, I believe. I got the kit from Hawkins Hobbies, I believe, so they are based here in the UK and they do a lot of other charts as well. So they do Bella Filipinas, Mirabilias, etc, etc. So today is a voiceover just because I find it's a little bit easier for me to stitch and then speak over the video, because then I can think about what I want to talk, etc, etc, etc. First things first, thank you so much for subscribing if you're new to this channel, and if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. If you like this video, please press subscribe, bell notification and a like button. That allows anybody else to see my videos sort of higher on the search list. I have no plan in terms of what I'll be talking to you about, so we'll just kind of go ahead with it and see where we end up. So I'm just showing you the kit and what I'm using. You can see my cat on the left hand side. Her name is Coco. She's doing very well. So at the moment I'm using this stand, which is, I can't remember where it's from, but I do have a link in my description bar for the actual stand if you're interested. I use this stand for something that's a little bit sort of more mobile. I use my Lowry for bigger projects like Hades, because I can just leave a big project on there and that's it. And this one is sort of a movable one. Now for this kit, or for this chart, I'm using the fabric that came with it, and this is linen. I can't remember what count it is. I want to say 32 count. It's a beautiful, beautiful linen. Now I did struggle a little bit stitching this on the camera, mainly because I would normally use my magnifying glass, but I couldn't really use it for this because you would have seen the magnifying glass in the video and it just looked very odd, so I tried to do it without it, so it's all just sort of trying to see if I can see. And because I'm in a different place, I'm at my desk where I usually don't stitch, it was sort of a little bit difficult to see because the actual stand was lower than I needed it to be and it wouldn't go high enough. When I'm on my bed it works, but when I'm on my desk chair it didn't particularly work that well. So here you see me struggling to get the floss out. All of the flosses in this kit are hand-dyed variegated flosses, classic colourworks, but again, if you get the kit from Hawkins Hobbies, everything comes in it already. I bought this kit when I went to the stitching and knitting, or knitting and stitching show in London, maybe end of October. If you're interested, I have done a video of that show of me shopping, so if you're interested, I'll put a link above somewhere down here. I did film all of my haul, what I did, where I went, etc, etc. So I thought that's quite a sweet video if you're interested. So I decided to stitch this kit mainly because, well, number one, it's Christmas, so it's sort of very Christmassy, wintry kit. And number two, I love red colour, just in general. As you can probably tell, I have, for the Christmas, I have a red jumper on in this video. My hair is red. I just love red colours. It's not my favourite colour, but I love red. And this kit has so many different red shades. It was just so fun to see all of those shades and stitch with them. So I thought, why not? Let's go ahead and start it. I do have my coffee next to me, so if you hear me sipping, that's the coffee. I would suggest doing exactly the same because by the looks of it, this might be a long video. So that's that. Now, in terms of what I'm going to talk about, we will see. I have no plan or rhyme for it. I'm literally just watching the video myself and talking over it. I thought I'll have a chat with you first about something I had in my mind. Now, I don't know if anybody's interested in live streams. Is this something you would be quite keen to see on my channel? I'm not sure if I would do it. I think I would do it directly on YouTube. Would you be interested in live streams? If yes, please do let me know down in the comments, because I think that would be quite fun to do. And it would take less work, because at the moment when I do Stitch With Me's, I have to film them, edit them, save them after editing, and that takes ages. Takes, you know, a couple of hours to save it, then upload it to YouTube, which takes again another 2 hours maybe. So the whole process is about 4 or 5 hours plus filming, so maybe 6 hours overall. So it's a long process. But if it was a live stream, I could directly stream it to YouTube, and sort of set dates for it. Let me know if you're interested. We could chat about different things. You could ask me questions or suggest topics and that kind of thing. Now, I do have an idea in mind of doing, not for live streams, but just for general Stitch With Me. So I'm thinking of doing true crime ones, where I stitch and we just discuss different true crime cases. It's just something I'm interested in. There won't be loads of them, but if I'm interested in something, I will do something like that. There were some suggestions on my Instagram account. Some of you suggested a couple of true crime stories, which I will be discussing. I'm just waiting to submit my assignment first, get that out the way for my master's degree, and then I'll have more time to kind of look into it, because each case really deserves some time in terms of looking it up, you know, researching it. I don't want to just do it on a whim. I do want to dedicate it some time. So that might be something I will do in the very, very near future. But for now, this is where we are. So I'm stitching this kit using a hoop. Now, I rarely use hoops, but I will use these plastic ones because they don't leave sort of dirty marks on the fabric, and I use them when there isn't a lot of space left in between the hoop and edge of the fabric. So if I was to use the Q-snap, which you may have seen I tried to attempt using it here, I just couldn't put it on a Q-snap because I needed more fabric to go around the sides of the Q-snap. So instead I just grabbed this hoop, and as I say, I really like these ones. I think I got it from Amazon. So these ones, as I say, they don't leave marks, and yeah, it's just easier. Wooden ones, I find they always leave dirty marks on the fabric, and then that doesn't come off, etc, etc. So I find it's easier. Now I'm stitching with the variegated floss over here, and I'm stitching it vertically. Now, I'm not sure if it was the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. With this particular part of the kit, of the chart, I decided to stitch vertically. Number one, the floss is super variegated, the one that I'm using at the moment, and it's a part of the dress that sort of falls down, so I figured vertically would make more sense. That's how the dress naturally would drop, but that's why it doesn't look exactly like the cover photo. Other parts of the dress I have stitched horizontally. Now, I have actually posted my latest November wrap-up video with, you know, all my whips from November, and I have added this chart. I've shown you the whip, so I've shown you where I got with this whip. So if you're interested and you want to have a look where I ended up, because obviously the Stitch With Me won't be long enough to show you my entire progress, and I've stitched more in it. I've stitched for 3 days. So if you're interested to see where it ended up, go and check out my November wrap up, and I'll link it above. So everything else I stitched sort of horizontally, but this bit I stitched vertically, just because, as I say, I felt like that's how the dress would naturally fall, vertically. So that's that. Oh, my kitten is meowing in the background, bless her. What else can we talk about? Let's talk about YouTubers' struggles, or Flosstubers' struggles. So Anastasia, she's a Flosstuber as well. At the moment, I believe she lives in China, if I'm correct. She's from Russia, she lives in China, she does her videos in Russian and English. But she released a video very recently. I haven't seen it yet, but it sort of prompted me to talk about it. I think before I started doing Flosstube, I don't think I've realised how much time it's going to take. Especially my November's wrap-up video made me think of that. So I attempted to film that video. I think it was like 6 or 8 times one evening at 11 o'clock at night. Then my camera kept dying. It wouldn't, for some reason, which is what I normally do, for some reason while I was filming it, it wouldn't charge at the same time, which is what I always do, but for some reason that time it just didn't work. So I came back to it the next day, and again a couple of attempts until I finally managed to film it. So, you know, that's time consuming as is already. And then on top of that, you've got, you know, editing, uploading, saving, uploading to YouTube, and everything takes so much time. So I hope you appreciate my videos, because there's really so much effort that goes into it, including thinking of different topics that I could be talking about and showing you. I have some more ideas for my future floss tubes, for future videos. I believe somebody commented on my house fabric storage system asking to show all my fabrics, my fabric collection, which I can do. That's not a problem at all. That shouldn't be, you know, too time consuming or anything along those lines. So I can definitely do that. It's in the making. Then I'm thinking of showing you how I store. Ooh, sorry, I've just charged my put on charge my microphone. The next idea I have is to show you how I oh, I hope you can hear me. So sorry, I had a little malfunction in my recording. So the next idea I have is to show you how I store my flosses and what do I do with them, because I believe, you know, everybody's got a different system and there's so many different ways. I've attempted a couple of different options until I eventually settled with one specific one. And again, it may not work for everybody, but it does work for me, at least for now. So that's another plan for a video. I might sometime, not sure when, refilm how to cross stitch for beginners, full coverage, that kind of thing. I have a video already and that's done so well, and so many people commented with other questions, so I thought if I film a new one, updated one, I can add those questions into the video for those who needed the work, for those who actually like something along those lines. What else have I got in mind? As I mentioned, I would like to do more of these sort of stitch with me's, maybe some live streams. I would love to do live streams, so, but it really depends if anybody will be watching it. You know, there's no point in me wanting to do something if nobody wants it. So that's the plan. That's the plan for now. What else? Let's think. Let's talk. Oh, let's talk Christmas. Now, Christmas, obviously we haven't got a long time to go to Christmas, which is amazing, and everybody's so excited. Now, I won't be going home for Christmas this year, and it's been 2 years since I've been home, guys, 2 years. However, I had to get a new passport. Mine expired and that only arrived recently, so now the tickets are so expensive to fly home. Plus, I think, well, restrictions here in the UK have tightened up again, so there's more testing, so it makes sense to not do it now, maybe fly a little later, maybe in March, who knows, but that's sort of the plan for now, if you like, and we will see where we get once it's next year. In terms of what I'm doing for Christmas, I have no plans at the moment. I am cat sitting 2 kittens, plus I have a cat of my own. I just thought, you know what, I might as well, I'm not going anywhere, so I might as well, you know, cat sit and a little bit of money. So I thought that was quite a nice quite a nice idea, and there's so many people who are looking for cat sitters at the moment, especially through the Christmas period, 24th to like 30th or 27th, 28th. So that's what I will be doing. I will see if I can get more cats to cat sit, just because it makes sense if I go from one to the other, and it gives me something to do, and a little bit of money, go for a little walk. I'm trying to find places and cats that are nearby, something where I don't have to travel too long to, maybe walking distance, or if driving then maybe just a 5-minute drive, something not too far off. What else? Let's have a chat about exercising. As you may know, maybe if you followed my channel for a little while, I have sort of been in and out of exercising, healthy eating, then dropping in and out of it. Unfortunately, I sort of, the best word I can find is relapsed. So I don't even know what to say in all fairness. I think it's just because I'm working so much at the moment still, and by the time I get home I'm so tired. I don't want to do anything, don't want to go to the gym, don't even want to stitch most of the time. And then in the morning I find it so difficult to wake up. I'm not a morning person, so waking up earlier is not really an option. I attempted it, it does not work for me, so I've sort of fallen out of it. I've eaten a lot of unhealthy foods. I think I may have gained a little bit of weight again, which is really, 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 really frustrating. I've always had this problem, sort of gaining, losing, not having a middle ground, if you like. And I don't know how to get to that golden middle. If anybody's got any advice, obviously you're welcome to let me know, but I always had that problem. I do have a problem with stress eating, so if I have assignments due or work is getting out of control, I do stress eat, and for me it's sweets, well, not just sweets but sweet items. I'm not a savoury person, so that's a problem. But as everybody else, hopefully once the new year comes around I'll kick myself in the butt a little bit more and see if I can actually do it and stick with it. I was very good when the whole lockdown happened and I was on furlough, because I had all the time in the world, obviously, and gyms were closed, but I would go for a run every single, well, I think 4 to 5 days. Oh, excuse me, I have hiccups. 4 to 5 days a week, 45 minutes each, and I really stuck with it for over a year, and I felt so great. But at the moment I don't feel great, and it's not the looks, it's just how I feel on the inside. I just know that I overeat, I eat things that aren't great for me or for anybody, in all fairness. I know that I'm not where I want to be, and I don't feel the way I would like to feel. So that's that. On the other hand, let's talk about just life things. Degree, my assignment is due on the 10th, which I'm working hard towards too. I am at the point where I'm really tired of it, I'm not gonna lie, and I still have a year and a bit left, which is, when I think about it, it feels like a very, 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 very long time, and I am losing motivation a little bit. I don't really, start to think, do I really need it? Why I'm doing it? Which I know is silly. I know is really, really silly, and I shouldn't be thinking that, because I just need to get on with it, do it, and not think about it too much. Just concentrate on working hard and finishing it. But it's just, I find it definitely difficult. And I don't really know why. Maybe because it's just, I've exhausted myself, energy-wise, or I just get distracted by other things, like I want to stitch, and it's Christmas, so I want to go to a Christmas market, and I want to do all the things and film, and you know, for floss tubes, and there's so many other things. Like I want to, obviously, as I've said to you before, go to the gym, and it's just, I don't feel like, I don't feel like I want to do anything else at the moment. So yeah, I would say if you have a chance to do master's degree right after you've finished your undergraduate degree, go ahead and do it. It will definitely make it, I think, much easier. Now for me, that was the plan originally. However, I got offered a full-time job, and I just thought, you know what, I'll have a break in between just so that I have a bit of a breather. And then that breather lasted, what, 5-6 years? So it's kind of counterproductive in a way. And the fact that I still have a year and a bit left is just, it's slightly killing me. But that's just my little problem. I'm not sure if any of you are sort of in that situation at the moment yourselves. Please do let me know how you're getting on with it, how you're managing your time, which is another thing. I think time management is, it's quite an important part of our lives. We do it everywhere. We do it at work, we do it at home, we do it everywhere. But when it comes to the overwhelm, and there's just so much, you just get to the point where, okay, well, what else do I want to do? What else can I do to kick myself in the butt and actually get on with work? What else should we talk about? I'm just scrolling through some cross stitch blogs trying to find some ideas. I have done like a little stitching tag before. I'm not sure. I'm trying to see if I can find something else so we could look into it. Crafty tags, and we'll see if I can see anything from that. We could probably talk a little about plans. I will do a separate video for cross-stitching plans for 2022, explaining how I got there, what exactly I've picked for each thing, the groups that I'm in and joining, etc. But planning wise, again, because obviously 2022 will be the year of master's degree for me still, so I won't be able to spend as much time cross-stitching. That's one of the reasons why I've tracked all my stitches in 2021, just because I wanted to see what's the level of stitching when I do have master's degree to work on, so I could make plans for 2022. So I think I've stitched about, I think it's something like, oh gosh, I don't want to lie. No, we'll discuss exactly how much I've stitched in my planning video, which hopefully I will film fairly shortly. But I do have ideas for maybe whip go. I have done my board already, so I'll share that with you when I do my planning video. I am thinking of doing 22 and 22, which is a full coverage fanatics group on Facebook. They have done it this year, and I wish I joined it because I would have smashed it, where you pick one whip you want to work on, and you only work on that whip. Well, for that challenge, you only work for that on that specific whip, and you have to stitch 22,000 stitches in the year of 2022. So for this year it was 21,000 stitches in 2021. Now I would have succeeded it because I have done more than 21,000 stitches on my African Sunset kit, so I wish I'd joined it, but hey ho. I'm thinking of doing this, being a part of that challenge in 2022. Then I'm also in Semi-Sane Stitches group. They sort of stopped accepting new stitches for a little while, and now I've submitted that I wanted to join, and I got accepted, so I'm really excited. They have a lot of fun challenges coming up. Then I'm also in the Magical Stitches group. Now if you don't know what's happening with Magical Stitches, I think they're changing the way they do things, there won't be any counting challenges anymore. But again, I don't want to talk about it too much. Go and watch their video, go to the group and, you know, look into it a little bit more. But from memory, I believe there won't be any counting challenges. There's still challenges, but they won't be counting challenges. So if it's sort of your thing, of course, go ahead, look into it. That might be a good idea. I do want to concentrate on some full coverage whips, see where I can get with them. But again, you know, I'm being realistic. I know I have master's degree to work on and work, so we will see. Now, work is becoming a little easier, so because we've got new employees, we finally were allowed to employ new people after all redundancies, COVID redundancies. So hopefully, it will be a little easier, and I'll have a tad more time. So that's my plan-ish, but I will do a separate video where I discuss, show you exactly which challenges, what I'm doing, which whips I'm using, my whip go board, and all of that good stuff. So there will be a separate video. Then I thought I'll tell you a little bit about Facebook Marketplace and encourage all of you to go and jump on the marketplace and look for anything cross-stitch related. Now, a couple of months ago, must have been sometime in the summer, I managed to find more than 200 DMCs on Facebook that somebody was selling because the lady was no longer stitching, and a lot of them are older DMCs, so they're only sort of good for smaller projects where you don't need another skein, because probably dye lot is going to be a little different, but it's great for smaller things. And that cost me, I think, £50 or something, less than £50 from memory for the whole lot. But so I keep an eye on Facebook Marketplace all the time, and I was going to tell you what happened to me yesterday, actually. So, and I will show you that in my next Flosstube in December's wrap-up, maybe. I went on to Facebook Marketplace, and I just normally just type in cross-stitch, and then just look through, you know, my local ads, and then I go through sort of country-wise. And I had a look, and there was this guy who was selling, I think it's 21 kits for a very good reasonable price, and I thought, let's have a look what sort of kits is he selling. And oh my goodness, the kits that he was selling, I think maybe 15 of those are out of prints, very rare, hard to find. So there's some out of Disney, which are incredibly rare. There's so Dimensions kits that are super rare as well. I think there's a Lanate kit. There's so many, so I asked him if he would post them. It's a lot of money. However, the value of all the kits is so much more. I will be selling some of those kits, not to make money really, but just because he would sell it as a lot, and a few kits out of those I already have, and he wouldn't just sell, you know, some of the kits, he would just sell it as a whole bunch. So I'll sell some of those, and I'll probably post that on my Instagram first, stories, etc., just so you've got, you know, a chance to purchase them. And the ones that I don't have, I will see if I want to stitch them. If I do, there's some that I really want to stitch, so I'll keep those, and then the rest, again, just sell them on. I just thought, I bought it with a couple of ideas. Number one, I wanted all those beautiful, gorgeous kits to be actually used by cross stitchers. Otherwise, it's probably just sat in that guy's storage. I've got a feeling he's selling it for his mum. So yeah, it would be just sat there, you know, not doing anything, and kits need to be stitched, come on. So that's the first reason. And then the second reason was there are some out of prints that I really want, and I've wanted for a long time, but they were too expensive for me to buy on eBay separately. And then the third reason was I wanted to can't remember what I was gonna say. I have such a bad memory. And the third reason was, again, just to give the kids another life. It's not fair them just sitting there. Speaking of Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, I have seen there is one ad for a finished cross-stitch piece. of the kit that I actually do have. I can't remember who's it by, and I can't remember the exact name for it, but the kit it's basically showing all different eras and their clothing. So it's couples from each era with like Victorian or Renaissance clothing. It's a massive, huge kit, and I've got a feeling it comes with 14 count Ada. I can't remember, I bought it maybe 4 years ago. And there was somebody selling it on Facebook Marketplace framed, and it's massive. It's probably as tall as I am, and I am 1.6 meters, so it's huge, and it's framed, and somebody was selling it, the stitch version, and they also added a photo, very old photo of a relative stood in front of that picture from many decades ago. So it's clearly a heirloom, or whatever you call it, that's been passed on, and my heart was bleeding for whoever was selling it. Clearly, you know, they probably, well, either don't see the value in it anymore, or they just don't have a place for it, or, you know, the relatives have passed away and it has no place in their homes anymore. So I was just looking at it, I really want it, but at the same time, because I have a kit, I really want to stitch it. So, but they were selling it for a fairly good price, and it's, you know, the frame probably would have cost over £1,000, but they were selling it for £60, I think. I didn't buy it, but that's, if you're interested, it's still on Facebook Marketplace. I won't lie, I really enjoy making these voiceovers. I'm sorry, there's a siren on the outside. I really like making these voiceovers. It's so much easier because I can pause and stop at any point. I can think about what I want to say, and I just find it so much easier doing a voiceover once I've already stitched. Yes, it's sort of, it takes double the time because, and sometimes I'll probably do some videos where I'm just doing stitch with me and I'll record my voice at the same time. But when I'm not in the mood to be talking, when I'm not ready to, you know, spend an hour talking, then it's very easy, very easy for me just to film me stitching and then do a voiceover at another time. Just like with this video, I think I filmed this cross stitch with me. Oh goodness me, oh actually I have a date on the 3rd of November, and we are now in December, it's the 5th of December, so yeah, I like this kind of stuff. As I say, sort of, it's good for Flosstube when I don't have particularly many ideas at that point, or don't have the energy for anything else. This is quite useful. What I've just done recently, I've literally typed in cross stitch and pressed news on Google to see if there's anything on the news recently that we could talk about in terms of cross stitching, which is very random, but I thought that was quite a fun idea to do. So what I'm looking at the moment is Dubai artist recreates Expo 2020 logo in cross stitches. That's quite cool. What else? Teen craft cross stitch ornaments. What's this? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Get your inner crafter into the spirit by designing your own wooden ornament with some cross stitch. Janice will guide you through the basics of cross stitch, give you design pointers. Oh, okay, so this is something along the lines of having like a little session. What else have we got? I find a lot of joy in creating. This Amelia artist is viral for creating realistic embroidered pet portraits. I feel like cross stitch and embroidery have come to light much more in the recent maybe 5 years. I sort of remember cross stitching ages ago, and it was fairly rare, or there was the stigma that only, you know, women of an older age would stitch when they retire and have nothing else to do, and it's so not the truth. And I think especially now that Flosstube has become such a big part of everybody's lives, and it's become so popular, cross stitch has kind of come to light a little bit more, and it's not a stigma anymore. I feel like, you know, you can find anybody stitching. from teenagers to older generations, and I love that. I love the fact that our craft has evolved and stigma has changed, and it's not just all about spending your time stitching whatever you can find. It's more about working on specific projects, you know, adapting them to suit specific person. You know, it's just I love it. I love the whole cross stitch community, Flosstube community. We do so much, and yeah, I think it's beautiful that we have evolved so much, and I think there are specific people to thank for this kind of thing, for actually pushing our craft to the forefront. I won't name anybody just because it's one of my rules. I try not to name too many people in my videos anymore. I have done it before and it didn't go down very well, so I try not to mention many names, but some people are definitely responsible for making our community so much better. At least in my opinion. Next thing I was going to talk to you about is I have just like a little review if you want to know a little bit more, because some of you have commented on my previous video of my wrap-up video from November. I have mentioned that I was about to go to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child play in London on the 1st of December, and today is the 5th of December, so I have been and I've seen it and just wanted to do like a little review-ish, if you like. There won't be any spoilers, I promise. It's just sort of my opinion, and again, this is only my opinion, so please do not be put off or anything along those lines. You know, everybody's got different expectations, different experiences, so this is just mine. Because some of you have commented on my previous video, you know, just saying how excited you are for me and etc. So I just wanted to tell you how my experience went while I've got a little bit of time on this stitch with me. So I went to see both parts on the 1st of December, so that was it Wednesday? Yes, it was Wednesday. Now, I do live in Dorset, which is southeast of the UK, of England, so it does take me a little while to get to London. Well, it takes about 2.5 hours. So to get to London, I took the coach, National Express coach, because it was fairly cheap. And if I can save money somewhere, I will try to do that. So it took me 3 hours, I think, because it was a morning rush. So I got there about 11 o'clock to Victoria Station, and the first part was about to start at 2 o'clock, so I had some time left. In that time, what I did was just sort of had breakfast, went to Starbucks, and then I went to Chelsea and go sort of look at the charity shops and look at the Christmas decorations, and they were stunning. Chelsea has a big Christmas tree already. A lot of shops are beautifully decorated. If you I think I posted on stories, so it will be gone at this point, but anyway, a beautiful area. If you don't know what Chelsea is, if you're not from the UK, it's a fairly wealthy area of London, so it has a lot of high-end shops, designer shops. But that wasn't the reason why I went there. I went there to look at the charity shops, because if you are in Chelsea and if you go to charity shops in Chelsea, you will find a lot of beautiful bargains, amazing brands for much cheaper, because anybody who lives in Chelsea, they donate to those charity shops within Chelsea, so you will get some good bargains. That being said, I didn't find any. But it did take me sort of half an hour to walk to the charity shops. So if you take an underground, if you go to, you know, in a tube, it's sort of where this station is about a half an hour walk to the charity shops, which was lovely because I wanted to see decorations through the streets. So I spent half an hour walking, spending some time at the charity shops, then walking back to the tube station, and then it was sort of time to go to the actual theatre. So I took the tube to the theatre, got out, took some photos outside, Harry Potter play, and then went inside the theatre. Now, my tickets were very, very cheap, and again, I'm not a cheapskate, but I try to save money where I don't need to spend it too much on it, because I'm trying to save up, especially this year, next year, for Disneyland, for Disney World, actually, not Disneyland. So I'm trying not to overspend on things. So I bought very cheap tickets during the London Theatre Week, which was, I want to say, in September. They do sell still fairly cheap tickets, even if it's not a theatre week, on Harry Potter and the Cursed Child Play website. I think they release £40 tickets on Fridays or something like that. You will have to investigate a little bit more, but what I done, I paid, I think, £25 each part, so I spent about £50 for both parts, which was great, because regular tickets are about 150, I think. Anyway, that's that out the way. I got to my seats. Well, in the first place, I didn't know where to go. I wasn't sure which floor I was meant to go to, because it didn't really say, you've got balcony, upper balcony, etc. But when you go upstairs, at least I couldn't see whether I was on the balcony or upper circle or whatever it is called. It didn't have any signage, so you just go upstairs, and it only has seats, 2021 to 31, this way, etc. But it didn't actually say which floor you were on, or at least I couldn't see it. Maybe, and I'm not great with navigation, so it could have been me. Anyway, so I've spoken to one of the staff members who was there on site, and I just shown her my ticket, and I said, oh, do you mind just letting me know where I'm meant to go? I'm a little confused. And she took me in through the door, showed me where the seat is. I went in, and I just double checked with her, and I said, are you sure this is my seat? And she went, yes, absolutely, that's your seat. So I sat down. I'm chilling, I've taken my jacket off, my scarf off, I'm sat there waiting, and then all of a sudden this same staff member comes up with a couple who were saying that it's their seat, like the seat that I'm sat in, it's one of their seats. And then I just, the staff member that was with them, the same staff member, she just said, oh yeah, you sat in their seat. And I just looked at her thinking, well, this is where you seated me. I've asked, anyway. So I felt so embarrassed. I don't know if any of you are like me, but I get so embarrassed because I never want to do that on purpose. It was a genuine mistake, and I was seated there. So I stood up, and I expected a member of staff to at least apologise and say, I'm really sorry, I made a mistake, I confused the seats, you meant to go upstairs or whatever it might be. But all she said is, this isn't your seat, you need to go 2 floors up, which is fine, but as I say, I kind of expected her to say, I'm really sorry, I did seat you in the wrong place, because I just felt so embarrassed. Anyway, so that was the beginning of it. Then I went upstairs to actually find my seat, and another member of staff showed me to my seat, which was lovely. Now, I know I got cheap tickets, and everywhere I go normally, if it's a West End event, theatre, musical, I normally get the cheap tickets, the £20-25 ones, because I find that the view is still perfect, and I love being high up, because then you can see the entire stage rather than just the front of it if you sat in the stalls. So I really like that. So I never had any problems with it, ever. Now, here, I mean, I don't know if the theatre is very old, and that's why this is the case, but the seat I had, now I'm 5'2", or 1.58 metres, well, about 1.6 metres, so I am short, and the seats were so close to each other. Honestly, my legs were wrapped up, and the seat in front of me was digging into my knees, and I still have bruises from the seat in front of me digging into me. And I had, like the little binoculars in between the 2 seats in front of me, so the binoculars were digging into my leg as well. It was just so tight. And as I say, I've been to other theatres where I had cheap tickets, and it's never been like this. After the actual theatre, I looked it up, and a lot of people have said that they shouldn't be selling those tickets because it's just, number one, it's super high, like nowhere else, and the seats are just so tiny. So if anybody's taller than me, I don't know how you would have managed that, honestly. The people in front of me, there was one guy, he was so tall, he must have been maybe 6'1" or something, and honestly, he kept standing up, walking away, coming back, and I just felt so sorry for him. Anyway, that's the start of it. Then the actual play, now again, this is subjective, this is just my opinion, but I thought it was awful. I'm really, really sorry. If you don't, if you don't want to listen to this, please feel free to get out of the video. But in my opinion, I just found it to be so boring. Stage, again, was very boring. There were only a couple of staircases that they kept moving up and down the stage. One bed, one fireplace, one desk, and some pillars to represent trees that kept coming in and out of the stage. That was it. And the actual staircases, they kept bringing them in and out, probably over 50 times. I just thought, I was very pleased that I didn't pay full price. If I'd paid £150 for each part, I would be so disappointed. I would have felt like it's a money milking machine. Anyway, but the actual play, I thought everything could have been done in one part, rather than split into part one, part two. I just found it so boring. After the first part, I felt like going home, and I actually wanted to. I left the theatre, had dinner in a nearby place, and I thought, okay, well, if I go home, I'll get home earlier, and I'm really not bothered to see the second play. I was really not bothered. It was, in my opinion, it was that bad. The only problem was I already had train tickets. So I had a train ticket to get back, mainly because the second play would have finished so late that I couldn't get a coach. I needed to get a train. And to change my train tickets to a different time, it would have cost me a fortune. So I kind of had to sit through the second part, which I wasn't very happy about, but it is what it is. So I went back in for the second part. So the first part was at 2 o'clock, finished about just before 5. And then the second part started at 7 o'clock in the evening. So we had about a couple of hours in between. So I came back for the second part. Now 4 people in front of me didn't come back. So their seats were empty. 3 people above me didn't come back. Their seats were empty. And there were a lot of gaps within the audience, so I can only presume again that people didn't come back. The amount of people selling their second part tickets outside the theatre was incredible. So I think they had the same idea as I did, that, they didn't particularly like it. But again, this is subjective. I read some reviews where some people really, really loved it and it was the best thing they've ever seen. But for me, both parts were just awful, so boring. Number one, it could have been done definitely in one play, and I think they purposely split it so you would be obligated to really buy tickets for both parts, because you would come there for a day, watch both parts in one day, so kind of buying both tickets. I was just so disappointed. It really didn't reach my expectations. And it was something I really wanted to do for such a long time. I dreamt about it. Came out in 2016, I believe. And acting was very, very poor. Not by all of the actors, mainly by the person who impersonated Harry Potter. He was screaming all the time, not talking. It wasn't dialogues or monologues. It was literally just screaming. And Hermione, diction was very poor, at least in my opinion. I couldn't, her diction was so, I found it so difficult to understand what she was saying, and it really bothered me. So that's that. But again, it doesn't mean that I didn't like it, that you won't like it. A lot of people find it incredible. So many good reviews. There's a lot of bad reviews as well, actually, but it's almost like 50-50, so it's just my personal experience. And then at the end I took the train from Waterloo Station, which was great, you know, train journey's quick. However, I didn't realise that there will be a train replacement via bus from a different town, which is about normally an hour away from me. So I had to get off there, take the bus as a rail replacement and get to my own city, my own town, which I didn't realise. Now normally if you're driving it is an hour from one town to the other. However, with a bus, because it stopped everywhere, it was 2.5 hours. So I got home at 3:30 in the morning and I had to go back to work at 7:30 the next day, which slightly killed me. I suppose it wouldn't be as bad if I really, really enjoyed the actual play, then it would have been maybe worth it, but well, it wasn't. That's just my opinion. If you are looking to see something in West End, especially in London, I highly, highly, highly recommend watching Back to the Future. That was the most incredible West End show I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a lot of them, and I'm already thinking of seeing it again. And the ticket I had was cheap ticket, £25. The seat was great, the view was amazing, I was not restricted, it was just perfect. And I think they are in London until July 2022, so I definitely want to go and see it again, maybe in February or March time. Definitely. If I could, I would like to see it at least twice again, just because it was so incredible. The special effects are out of this world, acting is out of this world, diction out of this world, staging just so incredible. It was one of the best things I've ever seen. Some others that I really enjoyed, so I really liked Phantom of the Opera. Now with that one, I've seen it twice. However, it's not for everybody because it's, you know, it's a lot of singing that's opera, operettes, that kind of thing. So, you know, you have to kind of enjoy it. Or if you've seen the film and you enjoyed songs in the film, then you will enjoy this show. I loved Lion King. I thought that was incredible. Again, staging, so worth the money, just out of this world. I've seen Cats, which I loved. Wicked, I wasn't a fan of. A lot of people love it, but for me, it didn't do it for me. I loved Matilda. Love Matilda. What else? Mamma Mia, I've seen it 3 times. I mean, adore Mamma Mia. Definitely go with your friends for a little sing-along if you like. Oh, my printer's doing something. Sorry about the noise. Oh, that's weird. What else have I seen in the West End? Let me think. Phantom of the Opera, Wicked, Cats, Matilda. I'm going to see Frozen in January, the 6th of January, which I'm so excited about. Another one I really want to see is Cinderella, because it has been produced by Lloyd Webber, I think. What else have I seen? I'm just trying to think of all. I've seen Dirty Dancing, not a big fan. I want to see Pretty Woman in London. At the moment they are in London, they're not touring, so I would like to see that. I've seen recently, again, I don't think I've mentioned it anywhere. A couple of weeks ago I went to see Narnia, so that was really good, but they were touring in a city nearby, so I didn't have to go to London for that. It was okay. It wasn't as impressive as anything else I've seen, but it was good. Acting was good, story is great, you know, it was lovely. I'm just trying to think. I've been to so many that you kind of need to go through all of them in your mind to remember. I've not seen Les Mis, but they are touring in March near where I am, so I might be tempted, not sure, but I'll have to have a think about it. But these are kind of my top ones. Definitely first place is Back to the Future, then it's The Lion King, Phantom of the Opera, Matilda. I think this, oh, I've seen Thriller, that was really good. I've seen it a couple of times when they were touring and when they were nearby. What else I'm trying to think? I think that is it. I think that is it. Definitely, if you have a chance, you know, pre-book your tickets. It's definitely worth doing something along those lines. Well, we almost at an hour's mark. My video is longer. My video is actually 1.5 hours, but I think that's a good point for stopping. I sort of ran out of things to say as well, so I hope you enjoyed this stitch with me. Please do let me know in the comments if you would like to see maybe live streams, and I'll definitely do those. Let me know if you've seen Harry Potter and the Cursed Child play. What do you think about it? What are your favourite musicals? Just let's talk down in the description, down in the comments section, not the description. And I hope you will be back again. If you like this video, please press the like button that allows everybody to see this video higher up. Please press subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and the bell notification, and I will see you next time. Bye!